As you may or may not know, this year I am tracking my cost per wear, and I'm trying to bring the total cost per wear of everything in my wardrobe down to a maximum of 20 Swedish kronor. I started the year with an average of 38 Swedish kronor, and I am making good progress. But the problem is, if I add anything into my wardrobe, the cost per wear goes up. I did do a lot of thrifting in 2025. You can watch my tier ranking of my thrift finds up here. And as I was analyzing how I'd been thrifting in 2025, it occurred to me that it was a bit much. I felt like it was too many items. It was also fairly expensive, and I wanted to be more intentional moving forward. And especially since there were a fair few items in that video that I deemed as regrets or items I could have gone without, I wanted to be more intentional moving into 2026 and beyond. Now I am 2 months into the year as I'm filming this, and I have some thoughts and reflections that I want to talk to you about when it comes to my cost per wear. So as I said, so far this year my cost per wear has been going down pretty steadily. I will have a playlist up here with the 2 videos I've made on that so far. However, my cost per wear went down, and then it went up. Not above where I'd started, not above where it'd been at the end of month 1, but still it increased because I introduced new items into my wardrobe. So far this year I have introduced 5 new items into my wardrobe. However, I've actually bought 6. A 6th one is on the way from Vinted, so it'll be here in the beginning of March. All of these were, however, bought in February. I didn't go thrifting in January, and the end of 2025 I was doing the 75 hardstyle challenge, with a part of that being not introducing anything new into your wardrobe. So all of these 6 pieces have been purchased in the month of February. And like I touched on in my February wrap-up, which I filmed earlier today, of how my cost per wear and my Wear Everything challenge for the year is going, my cost per wear has increased in February. It is still lower than it was at the start of the month, but I got it down and then it went a little bit back up during the month. And I am conflicted about this. It is inevitable that if I introduce anything new into my wardrobe, my cost per wear will increase. Like, even if I've gotten my cost per wear down to 15 and I introduce something into my wardrobe, my cost per wear will increase. That is math. That's just what's going to happen unless the item is free. But the more items I introduce, the more items I have, the more work I have to do to bring the cost per wear down. And I do still think that doing this cost per wear challenge, this cost per wear tracking, trying to get it lower, is a good thing. I do want to get wears out of the clothes that I have, but it does also pose a little bit of a challenge, which I guess is the point. The point is it being a challenge. But so far, the items I've introduced have varied a fair bit in price. The cheapest item was 59 Swedish kronor, and the most expensive one was 359. There's a pretty big span between these two things, and that also affects the cost per wear. So, the item that costs 59, in order to get that item down to 20, I have to wear it 3 times. The item in question is a skirt. It is a long, soft skirt that is a midi or maxi length. I'm not quite sure, but I need to wear it 3 times to get the cost per wear of that item down to 20. Sadly for this skirt, I went thrifting physically. I was in a store, I tried it on twice even, and I decided to get it, and I came home and I realized there was a hole in it that I didn't see in the store, so I'm gonna have to fix that somehow. But even so, 3 wears is what I need to get out of that skirt during the rest of the year to get my cost per wear of it down to 20. Tying into my total cost per wear, however, is of course everything in my wardrobe. If I wear that skirt 3 times and I get it down to 20, that doesn't mean that my total skirt cost per wear or my total cost per wear goes down to 20. There are other bigger, more factors in this equation. As for my most expensive items so far this year, which cost me 359 Swedish kronor, I have to wear that 18 times in the year to get the cost per wear down. That item is this lovely wool cardigan. I've so far gotten 2 wears out of it, so I'm not mad about that. However, it's March now. It's February 28th, but it's March now when this video goes live. Wool probably won't be worn for a number of months to come. Maybe in March, maybe early April, depending on temperatures, but I'm really longing for spring and summer at this point. It's been a very long, cold winter, and so I want to have the warm temperatures, but the warm temperatures means I won't wear the wool cardigan. And there will, of course, come another winter. October, November time, it's going to get colder again. Is it going to be cold enough to wear that cardigan? Hopefully, but this is something that plays into it. The skirt is more of a summery piece. I have not worn that yet. That cost per wear is still 59. The skirt I have so far worn twice, which brings the cost per wear down to 179.5. So even though it's been worn, it's still a long way to go until I get it to 20. On average, if we tally up all of the 6 items that I've gotten so far, including the one that's still in the mail, so I haven't been able to wear it and bring the cost per wear down, their average cost is 193 Swedish kronor per item, which means 10 wears on average to get the cost per wear down. And again, I'm counting it per item, but the total also matters, because if I wear all these pieces 10 times, these 6 pieces' cost per wear, total cost per wear, would be 20 or below, I think, if I'm thinking correctly. However, I want my total cost per wear to go down, but I also want the individual items to go down. I can't just wear my expensive cardigan for the entire year and think that that will decrease my total cost per wear to where I want it. And also, that's not what I want to do. I want to wear all my clothes because I'm doing the other challenge of wearing everything in my wardrobe. And so all of this is making me think a lot. Now, my goal is not to fill my wardrobe with as many pieces as I can possibly squish in there, but I also really like clothes. I like having variety. My style is not just the same thing every day. I don't dress in the same style uniform every day. I don't dress in the same colors every day. I like having variation. I also live somewhere that has 4 distinct seasons, or I guess I say 4 distinct seasons, and then I'm like, but spring and fall are similar, because like the temperature either goes down or it goes up. It's similar, right? But we have snow, we have rain, we have sun, we have, we have 4 seasons. Allegedly, we have 4 seasons. And so I sometimes need to wear wool, and sometimes I need to wear something thinner, like a thin skirt or a pair of shorts or something that aren't probably made out of wool. Would I get by with way fewer items than I have? Definitely. I just really enjoy having the variety. And because I like that variety, I have a large collection. I have 157 items in my wardrobe currently. That does not include my outerwear, of which I have like 5 jackets, I'd say. And it doesn't include my shoes. To some people that probably sounds like a lot, to other people it probably doesn't. I personally do not have a cap of I'm only allowed 160 items or 100 items or 500 items. I don't have a cap like that. I want to have clothes I like, clothes I wear, clothes that fit me and are comfortable, but also clothes that physically fit in my space. And I'm fortunate enough to have much more space for my clothing than I'm currently using for it. And I've always enjoyed clothes. Ever since I was able to buy my own clothes when I had that kind of money, I have always loved clothes. For parts of my life that has been fast fashion. I have stopped doing that. I now thrift, and I find so many good things at the thrift and I just want to save them all and keep them all and have them all. But even so, I have a lot of items. I'm aware that I have a lot of items. But the challenge I'm doing this year of trying to lower my cost per wear, I think is really good for me. I am not saying that I will do it this year and I'll get my cost per wear down to 20 and then I'll shop like crazy and my cost per wear will be at 50 and I'm never going to care about it again. My hope is to keep being intentional about what I bring in and wearing what I have and so on. But right now, my cost per wear benefits from me using my most expensive pieces, or the pieces that still have a high cost per wear. And my average cost per wear currently, as I'm filming this, is 33. I want it down to 20. And if I wear an item like any of the ones that I've recently added into my wardrobe, if I wear the skirt that has a cost per wear of 59, that is still higher than the average I have, and thus should be pushing the average down, not noticeably with just the 1 or 2 wears with an item that relatively cheap, but over time, my items that are more expensive than my average are working to push the cost per wear down, the average cost per wear down, faster. Math. But in order for me to get the cost per wear down, I must also have the time and the appropriate weather to wear the pieces enough times. And so I'm also questioning what is worth it. I don't have to introduce anything new into my wardrobe at all. I would be set for the full year. I'd probably be set for a couple of years, multiple years, with the pieces I have. I'm not lacking in a specific category. I have things that fit me. That is all good. But as I have now been introducing items during the cost per wear challenge, it's making me think of what each item is worth, or what is worth paying per item, but also if that matters depending on what kind of item it is. Is there a difference between a thin viscose skirt that I can wear during the warmer months and possibly layer with in the cooler months versus a wool cardigan, a thick wool cardigan that will keep me very, very warm, but I'm probably not going to want to wear in July? Is it then more worth it for the skirt to be more expensive because I'm probably going to get more wears out of it than for the cardigan to be more expensive because that might have a limited time frame during each year where I can wear it? Shorts, for example, I only really wear in summer, and I rarely wear shorts as is. I own 2.5 pairs. Well, I own 2 pairs that are currently in my little cubbies over there. I have 1 pair that is waiting to be mended that I still think will fit me, and if they don't fit me, I'm not gonna wear them. I'm not gonna introduce them into my wardrobe. And then one of the items that I've gotten so far this year is a pair of short dungarees, like a pair of dungarees that are shorts, but with the like suspenders and stuff. So technically I have like 3.5 pairs of shorts, I guess. But shorts I only wear during a short period of time in the summer. I don't tend to wear them many times each year. I don't tend to wear them to work, which that depends on like the length of them, and now I've also changed my job, so I might feel differently at this job. I haven't worked at this job for a summer yet. I started in October. But so there is no point in me having 15 pairs of shorts and to spend 100 Swedish kronor per pair. There's just no point. Whereas the dress I'm wearing today, which I can't really show you, but I'll put some b-roll or a picture of it on the screen for you. This I got in March last year, and I wore it in the summertime with nothing, just on its own, with no tights and no cardigan or anything. I'm wearing it now when it's winter time, and I'm wearing it with a cardigan, and I've layered with it, and it is the kind of piece that seemingly works for many, if not all, seasons. And so me buying this type of dress, or specifically this dress, which I then wear for all seasons, seems more worth it because I can technically wear it for 365 days of the year versus the shorts that I might be able to wear for 90 days per year if we're being generous about how warm Sweden is and how comfortable I am wearing shorts, like I said, to work or out and about. This dress itself was also pretty expensive. I bought it for 440 Swedish kronor, or converted to that. I bought it in yen, I bought it in Japan, but 440 was what the conversion rate came out to, and it's currently sitting at 73 Swedish kronor because I've worn it 6 times so far, so not a lot. So I've only worn it 6 times in the almost year I've had it, which is really not a good stat. I do love this dress, I should wear it more often, but I could still theoretically wear this dress on any day of the year regardless of the weather. I'd still need to wash it, I understand the logic of that, but I could still wear it theoretically 365 days a year, whereas the shorts I'd get a lot fewer wears out of. But like I said, I also have 4 pairs of shorts then, if we're counting the halves and the broken and I have 4 pairs of shorts, and I have, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 28 dresses. So I have more dresses, but I can also wear most of those more year-round than I can the shorts. So the point I'm trying to make is, I think spending more money on the kind of item I can wear more times in a year, theoretically, is more worth it than splurging on something that I can only wear a few times. For my cost per wear, like for my cost per wear, this is the logical thing to do and the most reasonable thing to do. However, that isn't always what I do. It isn't always what I find. It isn't always what I like. And I, like I said, like having the variation. Arguably, with me having, 28 dresses, I don't need more dresses. Now, I guess another angle that we could look at this from is also quantity versus quality, or quality versus quantity. And like I said, I have 157 items in my wardrobe. 28 of those, I think I said, are dresses. All of the dresses I have bought secondhand. All of the shorts I have also bought secondhand. The vast majority of all the items I have bought secondhand. I can think of 2 items in my wardrobe that I have bought new. But a fair bit of the secondhand stuff that I do have was originally fast fashion. And fast fashion notoriously doesn't have the best quality. However, I don't tend to have a lot of, I'm looking at my clothes behind you, a lot of my pieces are lasting really well, and small men's I can make myself, or I can ask my wonderful husband to do them because he has the patience to do that much more than I do. But I have some fast fashion stuff, originally fast fashion stuff, that is holding up really well. And I don't know how many lives, how many wears, any of that they had before I got them. I have been tracking everything in my wardrobe since May 2023, so we're coming up on 3 years now, end of May I should say. And the same is true for my vintage stuff or just older stuff that I don't know if it's fast fashion. My favorite pair of pants, my linen and cotton Prissy pants, that's what they're called, the brand is Prissy with 2 Z's, I have had since the summer of 2023. In that time, up until this point, I have worn those over 60 times, which may sound like a lot, which may not sound like a lot. I don't know. It is my most worn item in my wardrobe. However, only 60 to 65 wears so far, and having had them for 2.5 years. That doesn't sound like a lot, but I love those pants. They are the best. Those are also, from what I can tell from the tag, vintage. They are old. And I want to believe that they had a very long, lovely, happy life before me as well. They didn't come to me brand new. They have been worn before. But I can't for sure sit here and say that my 65-ish wears of those so far, and them presumably having had a life before me, means anything compared to, say, an H&M button down that I also got secondhand. I've worn, say, 5 times, but that also had a life before me. I don't know how many wears either of those items got prior to me. I do, however, assume that me and whoever owned them before, maybe multiple people who owned them before, have gotten more wears out of the trousers collectively than out of the shirt. But I can't vouch for that. I can't prove that. I feel like this has turned into a very rambly mess, and I don't really know where I'm heading with this thought. But essentially, my cost per wear goes up if I introduce new items into my wardrobe. That's just a fact. That's just math. But I think it's more worth it to spend more money on an item that I can wear in all seasons or multiple seasons compared to something I can only wear for 1 season. I mean, the same season for multiple years, but I can only wear it in summer, or I can only wear it in winter. But with that being said, both the cardigan I mentioned and the short dungarees are among the most expensive items I've bought so far this year. So I'm not perfect. I'm not necessarily following my mindset of like, oh, this is worth more, this is worth less. And what even makes something worth anything? Why do I get to decide what something's worth? Is it worth what I pay for it? Is it worth what is worth? Like I said, this got very rambly, but what I have to keep in mind for the rest of the year, and technically also beyond, but currently I'm tracking cost per wear this year. What I need to keep in mind is I need to be able to have the time to wear the items enough times for it to get my cost per wear down. I can't keep buying very expensive things and not get enough wears out of them. And even if I have the best intentions of getting, oh, I can totally get 20 wears out of this, that's easy. It's a dress. I will wear it 20 times this year, no problem. I have other dresses. I have other cardigans. And I am struggling with this a little bit because I did the no buy during the 75 hard style challenge, and I'm about to start the 75 hard style challenge again and do a no buy during that too, which I think will be good. But I did that and I wasn't thrifting, and I wasn't thrifting for all of January either, and now the thrifting bug is sort of crawling back a little bit, and this is such a first world problem. I am so privileged. This is not actually a problem, but it's crawling back, and I have the excitement to go thrifting again, and it is challenging me, which is a good thing, that I have the challenge in place to bring my cost per wear down and to wear everything at least once. And in this video, I've talked a lot about the whole cost per wear thing, and I need to wear this 20 times or 15 times to get the cost per wear down to where I want it. Actually wearing each item in my wardrobe at least one time, which is this other challenge, that is not going to be a problem. I am doing very well with that, and I would need to introduce like 150 items into my wardrobe for that to become a problem, and I'm not gonna do that this year. I am not introducing that many items in a year, hopefully ever. That is not a goal I have. But the cost per wear is the more challenging thing because of time and money and math and that whole thing. But that is where I'm going to wrap up this video of today before I just spiral this even further. Please let me know in the comments down below if this made any sort of sense to you. How do you look at pieces when you're going to introduce them into your wardrobe? Do you have a cap? Like, you'd never want to spend more than $20 per item? Do you think that this type of item you will get many more wears out of? It's worth spending more money on it because it is more versatile, it works for multiple seasons, and so on. All those thoughts I would love to hear in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to this rambling I've been doing today. I will be back with another video soon, and I hope to see you then. Bye!